Iran has initiated a fresh series of assaults targeting both Israeli and American military installations. In response, it warned that the United States would bitterly regret its decision to torpedo an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean, while Israel announced the commencement of a large-scale offensive against Tehran. Israel reported a series of missile attacks on its territory, prompting air sirens to wail in both Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. According to Iranian state television, further assaults were aimed at U.S. military installations. The Israeli Defense Forces confirmed that they conducted precise operations in Lebanon, specifically targeting the Hezbollah militant group, which is backed by Iran. In Tehran, the sounds of explosions reverberated across several areas. The United States and Israel initiated the war with the intent to strike at Iran's leadership, missile stockpile, and nuclear initiatives, hinting that overthrowing the current government is part of their agenda. However, the specific objectives and timelines have continuously evolved, indicating that the conflict could extend indefinitely. The frequency and intensity of American and Israeli attacks on Iran reached such a level that state television announced a delay in the mourning ceremony for Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed at the onset of the hostilities. In 1989, millions turned out for the funeral of his predecessor, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. As the conflict escalated, Iran launched attacks against Bahrain, Kuwait, and Israel. Turkey reported that NATO defense systems successfully intercepted a ballistic missile fired from Iran before it could breach Turkish airspace. Officials from the affected nations indicate that the war has claimed over 1,000 lives in Iran, more than 70 in Lebanon, and approximately a dozen in Israel. The ongoing violence has severely impacted global oil and gas supplies, created significant disruptions in international shipping, and left hundreds of thousands of travelers stranded across the Middle East. Amid the chaos and bloodletting, America's new PrSM ballistic missile just made its combat debut. The U.S. military has employed new Precision Strike Missile, or PrSM, short-range ballistic missiles, as part of ongoing operations against Iran. It appears that this is the inaugural instance of the PrSM being utilized in combat. Having begun entering service roughly 2 years ago, the introduction of the new missiles into active operations highlights their notably enhanced range in comparison to earlier models, allowing American forces to threaten a much wider array of targets than before. The baseline PrSM variant, also known as Increment 1, has proven capable of striking targets located a minimum of 500 kilometers distant. The U.S. Army, the service in charge of the PrSM program, has expressed an objective to ultimately extend that distance to approximately 650 kilometers. Assuming this milestone has not been reached yet, the service is also working toward an even longer-range version able to fly out to at least 1,000 kilometers, if not further. Many years ago, Iran stood as a key ally of the United States in the Middle East, particularly during the reign of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. The Shah invested in American military armaments and permitted CIA operatives to establish clandestine listening stations aimed at surveilling the Soviet Union next door. In 1953, the CIA orchestrated a coup that solidified the Shah's grip on power. However, in January 1979, the Shah who was gravely ill with cancer, departed Iran amidst a surge of widespread protests challenging his authority. Subsequently, the Islamic Revolution, spearheaded by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, established a theocratic regime in Iran. Later in that same year, a group of university students stormed the US Embassy in Tehran, demanding the extradition of the Shah, an action that ignited a hostage crisis and resulted in the breakdown of diplomatic ties between Iran and the United States. In the 1980s, amid the turmoil of the Iran-Iraq War, the United States provided support to Saddam Hussein. As the conflict unfolded, the US executed a brief yet impactful military operation that severely weakened Iran's maritime capabilities, a phase of the war often referred to as the Tanker War. Subsequently, the US military mistakenly shot down an Iranian civilian airliner, claiming it was confused for a military aircraft. Since then, Iran and the United States have oscillated between hostility and reluctant diplomatic engagement, with their relationship reaching its zenith during the 2015 nuclear agreement. This landmark deal required Iran to significantly curtail its nuclear ambitions in return for the alleviation of economic sanctions. However, in 2018, Trump made the decision to withdraw the US from the agreement unilaterally, which ignited rising tensions in the Middle East, a situation that escalated further following Hamas's attack on Israel on October 7, 2023.